Titanoboa. A team digs in a Colombian coal mine and hits a bone they call crocodile. Then the shape proves it's a snake, and the discovery flips the story into something impossible. The real monster isn't the snake, it's the world that built it. This story starts in northern Colombia at the Cerrejón coal mine. To most people, it's industry and dust. To paleontologists, it's a vault with a lock made of time. Coal forms from ancient plant matter. So when miners cut into coal layers, they also cut into old ecosystems, like flipping pages in a book, but the pages are rock. This isn't the dinosaur age, this is after. Around 58 to 60 million years ago, a few million years after the dinosaur world ended. Back then, Cerrejón wasn't a mine, it was a tropical rainforest swamp. Dark channels of slow water, mud everywhere, roots like walls, air that never seems to cool down. The mine doesn't just reveal bones, it reveals a whole frozen moment of a rainforest, sealed so fast that small details survived. And when a place preserves details, it also preserves surprises. The first surprise wasn't a skull. It was one thick vertebra that looked normal until it didn't. In a swamp world, crocodile is a safe guess. Crocodilians and their relatives were major players in ancient wetlands. Big bodies, ambush style, and plenty of bones. So when the team pulled out a huge vertebra, thicker than a wrist, heavy like stone, someone said the obvious word, croc. Then they cleaned it, turned it under the light, traced the curves. Croc vertebrae have patterns people learn by heart. This one didn't fit. It wasn't crocodile at all. It was a snake vertebra, scaled up to a size that feels wrong on instinct. One bone can be a fluke, but Cerrejón didn't give one bone. It gave a pattern, again and again, until the mine forced a new question. If this is a snake, what else lived here? Cerrejón doesn't just give a snake bone, it gives an ecosystem like a full snapshot. Plant fossils show the rainforest itself. Fish fossils show slow channels and thick water life. Turtle shells show heavy bodies lived and died here. Croc relatives show the swamp had more than one ambush hunter. It's a cast, not a cameo. And when the team found more snake vertebrae, dozens over time, something became clear. This wasn't a single weird animal that got lucky and grew huge. This was a place that kept producing big. Titanoboa wasn't a random giant. Titanoboa was a logical outcome of a swamp that pushed size upward across the board. If the world kept making big animals, the next question isn't, how big was Titanoboa? The question becomes, what kind of swamp food chain supports giants without collapsing? To answer that, the story needs a second boss fossil, something that shows the swamp didn't just have predators, it had armored calories. In many modern swamps, big predators exist because the swamp offers something special: slow prey, hidden angles, and water that supports weight. Cerrejón had giant turtles, some so large that the shell alone looks like furniture. These aren't quick, delicate animals, they are moving tanks. They don't sprint away, they just exist, heavy and calm. That matters because a giant predator needs giant payoffs. A large body can't live on tiny snacks forever. It needs meals that make the energy math work. Giant turtles are perfect fuel bricks in a swamp. Slow, common, and packed with reward. Exactly the kind of prey a huge ambush snake can wait for. Now the swamp has a terrifying shape. Slow, armored prey, murky water, and at least one giant snake. But there's still a missing piece. A swamp like this doesn't run on one predator. So where are the other hunters? And why didn't they stop Titanoboa from owning the water? Not teeth, not armor, heat. Because without heat, cold-blooded giants don't scale up. They slow down and pay for it. Titanoboa was a snake. That means one simple rule: its body relies on the environment for heat. Warmth affects how fast muscles respond, how digestion runs, and how growth plays out. Cerrejón's evidence points to a tropical world with very high average temperatures, likely in the low 30s Celsius, with far less cool down than people feel in many modern tropics. Picture a rainforest that doesn't get a break. No crisp mornings, no cool nights, just a constant warm pressure. Cerrejón wasn't just a swamp, it was a furnace swamp, the kind of place that removes the biggest limit on cold-blooded size. So the Monster Factory now has its power source. But one question still snaps back. How did Titanoboa actually live day to day? Not in movies, not as a chasing dragon. In this swamp, chasing is expensive. Waiting is cheap. That means the hunt was likely quieter and scarier than people imagine. A giant snake on land has a problem: gravity. Dragging a massive body across mud costs energy and time. But in water, weight changes. Buoyancy supports mass. Movement becomes smoother. Waiting becomes easier. So in Cerrejón's swamp maze, murky water, tangled roots, low visibility, Titanoboa likely hunted more like a water ambusher than a land chaser. The crocodile guess wasn't just about bones. Titanoboa probably filled a similar role in behavior, half submerged, almost invisible, striking at close range where escape time drops to zero. Now the Monster Factory picture is complete: a furnace swamp, huge prey, ambush lanes, and a snake built to rule water. So why isn't Titanoboa still here? And here's the twist: the answer doesn't need an enemy, it needs a small change. A small change that breaks a giant faster than it breaks a small animal. A cold-blooded giant runs on external heat. When the world cools, the giant doesn't just become slightly slower, it becomes less able to do everything it needs: move, hunt, digest, grow. After the Paleocene, Earth cooled over time, not instantly, but enough to reshape what sizes were realistic for ectotherms. Also, ecosystems don't stay frozen. Waterways shift, forest types change, prey changes, competitors change. The food web that supported the furnace swamp doesn't stay identical forever. Titanoboa didn't lose a fight, it lost the conditions that made it possible. The Monster Factory shut down. That sounds like the end. But Cerrejón leaves one final payoff. The fossils don't only tell a snake story, they tell a planet story, how close life can get to the edge when the thermostat stays high. So the final question becomes, what did Titanoboa really represent? Not as a monster, but as a signal. A lot of people hear Titanoboa and imagine a freak animal, one giant snake that somehow broke the rules. But the fossils don't read like a fluke, they read like a system. Cerrejón preserved plants, fish, turtles, croc relatives, and Titanoboa bones in the same world. The size shows up across the cast. Titanoboa wasn't the monster, Titanoboa was the receipt, proof that, for a brief stretch of Earth's history, the tropics ran hot enough to let an entire swamp ecosystem push biology toward giant forms. That's why the discovery feels so unreal. It's not just big snake, its planet settings changed, and the whole map spawned bosses. Cerrejón didn't reveal one monster, it revealed a monster-making world. Furnace heat, swamp cover, and slow, heavy prey that made giant predators make sense. Titanoboa is what happens when every condition lines up, then disappears when the line breaks. If you enjoyed this, you'll go crazy for Porcupine vs. Komodo dragon. Watch it now.